and you're up.
We're on, okay. Good evening, everyone. Formal written advance notice is required by NJSA 10-4-1, has been provided at this meeting at least 48 hours in advance of today, giving the time, date, and location, and to the extent known at the time of the agenda of this, and to the extent known at the time of the agenda of this meeting. Such notice stated that formal action may or may not be taken. The notice was posted on the bulletin board outside the offices of the municipal clerk, reserved for this and other similar announcements, provided to the Suburban Trends, the newspaper designated by the Borough Council to receive such notices, and filed with the Borough Clerk. Can we stand for a pledge, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, boy. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Silverstein?
Here.
Mr. Quigley will be absent. Ms. Novak?
Here.
Mr. Ross?
Here.
Mr. Kimberlin?
Here.
And Councilman Bennon?
Here.
Mayor Sarah is here. Len Dominic is here. And in place of Carl O'Brien will be Nick. And Ms. Russell is here tonight.
Okay. We have three items of correspondence from the Borough Clerk. One came from the Borough of Oakland, which is an ordinance that was introduced for a downtown streetscape design standards. If you read through it, they basically want sidewalks that are a minimum of 4 feet wide, and they have a bunch of designs in for sidewalks and what I guess concrete or paver sidewalks should look like. And that's really all I got from reading that one. The other one was really pretty interesting, from the Township of Wayne. The Toys R Us tract on Jeffrey Way, they, I guess, introduced an ordinance to amend their redevelopment and to create a Mount Laurel Round 3 district, which is going to include 1,361 housing units spread across a number of buildings ranging from one-story townhouses to a number of 5-story buildings and one 8-story building. In addition, there's a recreation zone and I also believe a commercial zone. So, I mean, it's a huge project. And it's worth reading to see what they're going to do. There's no developer named or anything like that. It's just amending their redevelopment plan. And the third thing she sent us is a directory update with unexpired terms and member application forms, which you should fill out, I guess, and give to Carm. So that's our correspondence. There was no other. Glenn, Executive Director's report.
I spoke with the owners of the Pumpkin 5, 223 Wanacue Avenue today regarding, the standstill in construction there. They indicated that they had some issues with their structural design plans regarding their steel, and that they had to amend their plans to reorder the steel, and that they believe they should be on track within the next 2 weeks to full construction. Obviously, I know this has been ongoing for some time now, so I'll stay on this to make sure that they get out of the ground.
Okay.
We also have some financing issues. They're closing on a subsequent loan this week, so hopefully they get some money flowing and they can get some materials ordered and we can see some progress on that project.
Okay. Anything else?
Met with several developers in town last week. Just took a tour of the town, trying to bring them in, see what their interest is, and, the borough as a whole. I think there were relatively positive meetings. General concerns as usual, parking. But other than that, excited at the opportunity and what's going on here. And, we consider getting in the game if they can find the appropriate property, which I will be back to both of you on once they have some ideas on potential closings.
Okay. Anything else? Good. Okay, thank you. Any questions, Glenn? Okay. let's just skip around a little bit on the agenda and try to get some of things out of the way and not keep everybody here for everything if they don't want to stay. Let's move over to the resolutions, please. I understand the Pompton Smith properties, we will not have any resolution tonight because you have not negotiated the final agreement with
Mr.
them.
Malek, yes,
Okay.
we've started, talked to them, but we had, obviously, did a whole lot more on 61.
Okay, which brings us to 60 Wanacue. So, if you would like to explain those,
At the conclusion of last month's meeting, the board adopted a resolution directing me to negotiate the terms of a redevelopment agreement in conformance with the plans that you saw. Nothing official, but so I worked with Mr. Maletic and his partner, who's here also, and I think we got to, I had passed out a copy of the draft agreement as it stood, and I think I went over some of the issues. Consistent with what I told you, the changes that would be necessary, and made those changes, and almost uniformly, they were adopted with some minor non-substantive additional rule changes. I would like to just go over it. All you commissioners have typically done is when you are satisfied with the proposal that we put down in an agreement, it has pretty much the standard forms. Description of the agreement, a deadline, schedule for when they'll have to do things, you have to make payments, all their obligations, and, what happens if they don't do it. It's broken down in simplest form. This agreement does that, and it is very, very similar to the draft that you had. So what I have is 3 resolutions for you, for your consideration. 1, authorizing execution of this agreement. 2, recommending to the, as you probably recall, the proposal would result in the need for some variances, or obviously the preference is to amend the redevelopment plan, so it doesn't need variances, so it's a conforming application. So resolution number 2 is recommending the specific changes that would be necessary to the redevelopment plan. They are attached to that resolution. You might want to see them there. It's, the 2, if you want to call them big ones, are to amend it to allow a use which has residential units on the first floor and raises the height. There are also then bulk standards and some other things. Those are really the 2 major ones you'd want to read. You would be recommending that. You have no power to do that, just recommend it. Then number 3 is a recommendation that the borough negotiate and enter into a financial agreement in terms that the borough would find advisable. Essentially, and I think Mr. Dominic will confirm, but I've looked at the pro forma and the financials, and it appears that at least the initial look at it is that the otherwise applicable taxes, this would not be a feasible project. The specific terms of which are subject to negotiation, that's the borough's job, but the third, obviously the third resolution is just a recommendation to the borough that it appears that a financial agreement would be beneficial and would assist this project to get forward, and you recommend that they do it. That being said, before you consider the first one, I'd just like to go over, you have a copy of the actual agreement, and I'll just go over, the changes or the things, salient points. They're not major ones at all.
That would be the 08.
That would be 08, and the agreement that's attached to it. First one is the definition of agency cost. As you know, the executive director is no longer a consultant. The executive director is an employee of the borough, and one of the ways to defray those costs, or to have all redevelopment projects pay a portion. So this project will be paying a one-time $3,500 payment toward that, and that would be straight to the borough, not to the agency. The next page in the definitions, force majeure event. The force majeure is something that is kind of, you just don't know it's out of the ordinary, and it prevents things from going forward, and it would excuse parties from having to comply. One of the things I talked about is that it had to be tightened up a little bit. They were agreeable with that. The last sentence is the most important, which event results in a legal prohibition or physical impossibility. So that's the only time this would apply. They are absolutely prohibited from doing anything. They were fine. They understand, and that's really what they're supposed to be. The next would be the definition of project. This really just defines, it's the two alternatives. One, the potential 23 units or the 17 units, and how many bedrooms each would be, and then obviously compliance with the borough's affordable housing obligation. We sketch out the minimum, but also say that they have to satisfy the borough's the affordable housing consultant. From there, skipping on all the way down to section 4.1, approval of the concept plan. Essentially, the plans that you saw are attached as Exhibit A. What they have been approved to is do that. And that's the presumption, and everybody's happy with that. If they want to change that, if there's any change at all, if there's a material change, they have to come back to you. Those two people define and decide whether or not it's a material change, not the redeveloper. So if they see plans that are in any respect different, they would look at them and say, is this a minor change or a material change? If it's material, it would have to come back here for your approval. So you've approved what you believe to be a great plan, and we all hope it goes forward. If there are changes, you get first look at it, and they'll have to come back to you. The next look at, this is the only one that I want to bring to your attention. I don't think it's major, but just so you know what could potentially happen. It would go to 23 units if they can come to an agreement with the county for an additional 8 parking spaces. They put in an additional alternative if they can find any property within 500 feet. So you would be agreeing that this project could be 23 units if they found a piece of property 450 feet away that would commit to allowing those additional parking spaces. Just want to make sure that you know that's there.
And that's the maximum 450?
The maximum would be 500 feet away, 500 feet away. That's, so anything, it could be 27 feet away.
Yeah.
Because once for you all to understand, that's one alternative. They might not do that. Hopefully it works with the county, but I did want to bring that up. The schedule of the project is section 4.2. They have, timelines that they have to meet. Typical with the agreements, we don't want them to be something where they're probably going to miss them. We want them to be well out there, but at least there's timelines. They know you have to do them. They're in there. They have to meet those things. And throughout this agreement, the meeting those timelines is a requirement. If they fail to meet them without having been excused, then that's potential for a default and everything that follows that. Construction hours and construction of the project. I think we know with several of the projects that it causes impacts to the borough. So there is a requirement, there's an acknowledgement that has potential problems, what time they can do it, where they stage materials. There's a requirement that they come to an agreement, the developer's agreement with the borough. So all those things, those are very significant impacts. They can't go forward until they agree with the borough how all those impacts will be handled. That's section 4.4. Redevelopment plan amendments, 4.10. Essentially, as I said, one of your resolutions is recommending some changes to the redevelopment plan. One of the basic, then go down to section 4.11B, if they don't get their financing by the time they start construction, then they can get out of this agreement. You haven't paid anything into it, but it's pretty standard and reasonable that one condition of them going forward is they actually get the financing. That's just about all the issues that were really new. And that's it. As I said, section D, Exhibit D, the last one, is the last page. Those are the amendments to the plan that you would be recommending. They're attached here, and they're also attached to the resolution. So that's really what I wanted to bring to your attention. Other than that, it's substantively the same as the agreement that I had passed out last meeting. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So I think we should take these in the following order. Let's do Resolution 08-2004 first, which is a resolution of the Pompton Lakes Redevelopment Agent recommending amendments to the downtown Pompton Lakes redevelopment plan, and those are outlined on the last page of 08-2004. There are 11 amendments that would have to be made to the plan. Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Okay, Mr. Silverstein?
Yes.
Ms. Novak?
No.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Kimberlin?
Yes.
Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Okay, so that carries. That carries. The next one I think we should take up is the resolution of the Pompton Lakes Redevelopment Agency authorizing the execution of a redevelopment agreement between 60 Wanacue Avenue LLC and the Pompton Lakes Redevelopment Agency. That would incorporate all of the changes we just recommended to the mayor and council. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved
Sorry,
and
skip, reverse.
reversed. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we have a roll call, please.
Is that labeled 09?
That's 10-2024.
Whoops, hold on.
Sorry, I didn't announce that, I'm sorry.
You messed me up. Okay. All right, Mr. Silverstein?
Yes.
Ms. Novak?
No.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Kimberlin?
Yes.
And Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Okay.
Before you get to the next one, which
Okay.
is recommendation of the financial agreement, I didn't want to put words in anybody's mouth. I had reviewed the pro forma and seeing it, which is pretty standard stuff in there. Again, I'm not negotiating the final terms of it. My understanding and take that several of the years it would just be negative, and I don't know, developers that would go forward paying the normal, otherwise applicable taxes. And I would defer to Mr. Dominic. Does he generally agree that that's the case without negotiating any specific terms?
I absolutely agree.
So
If
that's,
you look at it, it's upside down for the first 3 years. In other words, then operating income would be exceeded by market rate taxes. He'd have trouble getting his financing. It absolutely should be recommended for a pilot.
and so you're
Some sort of
recommending,
assistance.
so this resolution is not recommending any specific terms, but just a recognition that it doesn't work with otherwise applicable taxes. It is eligible for a tax exemption, and recommending to the governing body that they negotiate such an agreement.
Okay. So this is 09-2024, resolution of the Pompton Lakes Redevelopment Agent recommending negotiation and approval of a financial agreement between 60 Wanacue Avenue Realty LLC and the Borough of Pompton Lakes. Do we have a motion, please?
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Silverstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Novak?
No.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Kimberlin?
Yes.
And Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Okay. So that takes care of the resolutions on 60 Wanacue. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the conceptual presentation on 207 Wanacue Avenue, 207-209 Wanacue Avenue, Pompton Lakes, Block 6300, Lot 38, Zone DRA-1. Anyone here for that? I guess there's no conceptual presentation on that, so that's done. Which then brings us to formal application, Washington Urban Renewal at Pompton Lakes LLC, 125 Wanacue Avenue, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, Block 3101, Lots 4, 5, Zone DRA-1.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, yes.
yes,
Would you like me to approach?
yes, please.
Maybe didn't know he had to.
No.
I'll reach out tomorrow.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Veltri. I'm an attorney. I practice out of Totowa, and I represent the applicant in this application.
Okay. You've been here before on this application.
Yes.
Just for everyone in the audience to know, this is the Washington Building.
It is, and I
Okay.
represent the Washington Urban Renewal at Pompton Lakes LLC.
Okay, I did go back and do a little bit of research on this, and this application first came before this board in 2019.
That's right.
So,
That's correct. So, as you know, the property is in a downtown redevelopment zone. We're here to try to obtain design approval and be given the opportunity to appear before the planning board for site plan approval. We have been here multiple times. The last time we put testimony on the record was April of 2023. And since that time, the layout, density, parking, and architectural design of the project has not changed. Just to refresh the members' recollection of what we're trying to do, the applicant is seeking a change in use of the second floor of the existing building from an existing office space use to a residential apartment use. Specifically, we're trying to construct 8 apartments. 1 one-bedroom apartment, 7 two-bedroom apartments. To accommodate the apartments, the existing second floor needs to be demolished, and we would like to rebuild a second floor addition over a reinforced foundation and first floor. The first floor and a portion of the basement will remain as retail space. It's approximately 9,454 square feet. The parking lot will be relined. We have 22 off-street parking spaces, 1 handicap space. There are no new variances being created by the project. There are some pre-existing variances and waivers that are required based upon the building as it exists. We do have a parking deficit currently, and will have one if the project is approved, but we're reducing the parking deficit by the change in use. There's going to be multiple site improvements made, including the exterior of the building. There'll be a lot of aesthetic improvements, landscaping, lighting, as I said, designated parking, an access drive, and a new trash enclosure area. So we do have a rendering which won't change. I have the architect present and the client is here. If we need to get more specific on what we've already put on the record, so they're available. But when we left here in April and the subsequent reports, we had one major issue that we needed to resolve. And that was proving to you that the building was structurally sound and could accommodate the second floor addition. And specifically what your reports say is you wanted to know whether the existing foundation, first floor, and underground soils were capable of supporting the new loads required by code for the proposed second floor addition. So that was our mission. That's what we're trying to prove to you tonight. And to try to answer that question, my client's done the following things. They have retained a geotechnical engineering service. They've done a soil investigation report that I've submitted to the board. You okay?
No, it's just, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
It's set to check the Yankee score every few minutes.
Excuse me.
Sure, don't take your time.
You might want to check it.
It changed?
before it was-
Holy cow, it was 3-1 just a second ago.
I know, that's why I said you might want to check it.
Wow, look at that, Yankees win at 4-3.
I don't know what happened. Okay, here we go. Business.
Okay, we're back.
And then you could change if you want.
Okay,
All
thank
your
you.
stuff is on there.
Thank you. So again, we have obtained that soil investigation report, which we've submitted to the board. That's dated September 5th, 2024. We've also retained a structural engineer. He's done a structural analysis, and we've prepared structural plans, which we've also submitted. And they are dated September 10th, 2024. I want to be clear, My clients have agreed to comply with all of the requirements and conditions contained in the soil investigation report and in the structural plans. And based upon that, we do believe that we have shown that we have structural integrity, that the foundation, the soils, and the first floor will support the second floor addition. So I don't know what details the board would like to hear today. We're relying on the reports and those stipulations I put on the record. We do have the structural engineer here if there are any questions, or if you want to hear about what his analysis was. We have no problem putting that on the record, but it's all contained in the reports. And we do have our architect here, who you heard from at the last two meetings.
I mean, I don't know what everyone else did. I mean, I skimmed through the reports, I actually read the reports as much as I could understand, because I'm not an engineer.
I'm not either.
But it certainly at least appeared to me that it came out that is exactly what you said, that this will support what you want to do.
Yes.
It seems to me, unless anyone disagrees with that, that we can accept the attorney's word on that, without probably having direct testimony of the structural engineer or the soil.
Can I just
Go
ask the
ahead.
professionals answer?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Oh,
Okay. Now I lost my train of thought, because I think for the most part, these reports will be an integral part of your presentation to the planning board and the engineer over there. And to the construction official.
department before we get building.
Exactly.
permits.
So with that being said, do you guys have any input or questions on?
Well, most of our comments are really more relevant at the planning board stage of the process. I will, and neither of us were here when you were
I
last year.
realize that.
So forgive me if anything that I raised has previously been addressed or that I'm missing something. It looks from the previous reviews, though, that the site may have been split zoned. Can you address that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In 2022, that came up,
Okay,
believe it or not. And we adjourned. I contacted the borough attorney and the tax assessor. And we discussed this at length. We gave them copies of our deeds. And they concluded, and there was a writing on it that was submitted to the agency, that the lots had merged and that the entire lot now was in the redevelopment zone. So yes, it did come up. It came up in 2022. It put us on a 6-month adjournment to straighten it out, and with the help of the borough attorney, it was straightened out.
okay. If somebody with more authority than me made that decision, then I'm happy to rely on it. I need to make sure that.
They did, and you have my
Yeah.
stipulation on the, and I think,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
We do have that.
I think.
Right, I think-
You both were here at that.
Yeah.
We were here for that. I believe what it was, and again, you'll all have to forgive me, this was, been going on for so long, you kind of forget things with this, but I believe it was the tax map that was wrong.
Okay, as
Yes.
long as.
That's what I
been
think it
Never-
was.
It never merged.
They never merged it, they were two separate lots, they
Okay.
never merged it.
That's fine. And the only other thing that I have is, and I may have misunderstood what you were trying to say, but you indicated that there were no variances, and I think that there are.
The pre-existing variance.
Well, if you're tearing, it looks like you have a pre-existing non-conforming front yard setback and side yard setback. Now,
Right.
if you tear down the second floor and build it again, that's gonna trigger a variance. And it looks like there's also an impervious coverage variance, perhaps that has changed?
Well, I think she noted in one of the reports, they were all pre-existing. That's the chart that I
I
have.
understand, but when you have, just because the first floor is a pre-existing non-conforming condition, as is the second floor, but I would argue that once you tear down that second floor and build it again, you need another variance for that setback. I think it's a perfectly reasonable argument to make, but I think that you need to request the variance. And that's at the planning board, that's not here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I have no problem requesting those variances at the planning board level.
Yeah,
I mean, our argument's gonna be that we're not aggravating an existing condition.
absolutely.
But technically, you're right. I
Yeah,
agree.
okay, then we're on the same page. And again, not necessarily a redevelopment issue, but a planning board issue, just make sure that you, are compliant with those EV charging stations that are now state mandate.
My clients will be, we're
Yeah.
gonna defer to our experts.
Yep.
And then we'll include those in the plan
Yep.
before the planning.
I just wanna make sure that I don't spring anything
But
on
you've
you
done
by
a
the
very
time
good
you get
job,
to the
and I
planning
appreciate
board.
it, yes.
That's all I have. There are some outstanding issues in this last memo, which I know you have, and which we can deal with as we go.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And from the engineering side, it's kind of the same thing. There's a number of technical items that are still outstanding, but they can be handled in the planning board stage. Obviously, we're gonna need to see full designs for drainage, grading, all these things that are not
Fully
currently
understand that.
shown on the plans.
We will have an engineer seal the plan. Very
And then in
nice.
terms of the structural assessment, I read through the report. My take on it was that it was kind of a preliminary assessment without, like actual load analysis done. It maybe if your structural engineer could just confirm that that's the case.
Mr. Patel, can you comment?
We should swear him in. Yep, time out. Can we have him sworn
Of
in?
course, of course.
And
This is Sanjay Patel.
I'm sorry,
Sanjay Patel.
Please raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last.
Sanjay Patel, P-A-T-E-L.
You swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
okay, and can you,
Give me some
Your
credentials.
credentials.
What's your profession, sir?
I'm an engineer, graduated from Stevens with a master's in engineering. I have an engineering firm, I'm the principal there, Seva Engineering, and a license in the state of New Jersey.
For how long?
Since 2010, and multiple other states throughout.
have you done these types of assessments before?
Yes, we have.
Okay, have you testified before boards before?
Yes.
Okay, we'll accept them.
Thank you. Without getting into detailed testimony, can you answer the question brought up by the borough engineer?
No, so the building design and the load consideration is a full building design. The plans that we have submitted include the footings, the foundations, the required reinforcement, considering the the new second floor loading. So, you know, we have relied on the geotechnical.
So it's a fully fleshed out.
It's a fully fleshed out.
Okay, that's all I was, just wanted to make sure we had it at that level. So, yeah, I think from a structural standpoint, and obviously, we're gonna have our structural experts look at that and provide some, more technical comments in that regard. From a general standpoint, I think that this is acceptable.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it may be helpful, because it's been so long, if we can see the plans again and what the building is going to look like. It's just been a while.
It's on
It's on the laptop.
the laptop.
Should I bring my laptop? You have both?
Yeah, I have-
on this one? No, it's on theirs.
It's on, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, this is Gianni
Good
Antilli.
evening.
He's an architect, he's testified.
He's been previously sworn.
Yeah, and he
Yep.
prepared the plans, and perhaps he could walk you through this a little better than I can.
Yeah, that would be great, just so we're refreshed, because it's been so long.
Sure. Very good.
Very good. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Mayor, members of the board. Thank you.
It's also probably helpful for the public, because you probably haven't seen it in quite some time.
Not sure.
Why is this so slow?
You want me to drive?
Yes, you can. There you go.
All right.
Or yours. Just give it a second.
Just
Yeah.
an overview of the looks of the building and
Well, I had, let's see. You'll frame this one.
Wait, Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? real quick?
Sure.
I see you're gonna take down the second story and build another story. The retail that's on the bottom now.
Yes.
What's the effect while you're doing this? Are they open or are they closed?
during the construction.
Yeah.
May I start with my client?
Some will remain there and some won't. Whatever on the plans, there's a staircase on the left where one retailer is still probably leaving.
Yeah, why don't we
Come on up.
come up and,
This is Joseph Santoro. He's a member of the LLC, and
okay, we should swear him.
Raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last.
Joseph Santoro, Santoro.
Do you swear or affirm
Yes.
swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this board, be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay,
Obviously, we are trying to keep them there, but as you can see on the plans, some retail spaces will have to accommodate for a staircase, so they'll be leaving, but we plan to work around them, you know what I mean, do the, you know, the appropriate precautions for that, whatever that may be, scaffolding, you know?
but I guess the question, Mayor, if I can interpret your question, is we're going to wind up with the same number of stores and the same amount of square footage?
Correct.
Okay,
I think maybe one to the left is losing maybe a little bit of square footage.
Okay,
due
but
to a
there's-
staircase,
okay.
a second staircase for the apartments.
what we can
Gianni would,
What we can do, Mr. Chairman, there is a sheet with the proposed first floor renovation,
Okay,
and I think there's 6 units on the first floor, and there's some space, existing retail space in the basement.
right, we know.
That's gonna remain. But there's gonna be 6 units, based upon my memory of the sheet that you have, that we have.
Okay.
So I'll speak to one of the partners. So the stores that are there now,
yeah,
you're gonna try to work with them staying open.
correct,
Keeping them, protecting them the best you can.
Correct.
But you're not closing anybody down to work.
no,
You got it.
I'm not trying to do that, no.
Okay, one of the questions I know we had, and again, this, don't mean to repeat this, but again, it's been so long, is we had a fairly long discussion on whether or not the stores were going to be renovated, or were they going to stay the same?
So they're gonna stay the same, and I guess if anybody leaves, I think you guys were more concerned about the ADA bathrooms. We would renovate to do the appropriate thing for that. If they, you know, I know like one on the corner, the deli, he's already been renovated, he's compliant, you know, so if, you know, as time goes, if somebody leaves.
So you'll do the renovations as the stores turn
If
over?
they leave, yeah, or, you know, I mean, if it's a requirement that we do them. Yeah.
Well, I think you were asking more about the outside, right?
Well, and the inside, I mean, I think we had this conversation at one point on another project.
Excuse me, perhaps I can answer this question.
You can? Okay,
So I can answer the question because you already,
okay,
we already answered this question, so I'll go over it again.
okay.
Okay, this presentation. Okay, so if you don't mind. No. Okay, here we see a top view of the site where this two-story building is currently located between Vanacue Avenue and Colfax Avenue. You can see basically from the top view, you can see the parking lot, you can see the landscaping that surrounds the building, and you also see a rooftop with some mechanical equipment. Going to the basement floor plan, we're proposing to provide certain amenities for the building, like tenant storage, community room, tenant gym, but we also have one tenant space, commercial space, which was part of the bottom floor of what used to be the shoe doctor back in the days. So we kept that, also continue its commercial activity. And of course, we have mechanical system, laundry room, and the toilet rooms, of course, for the gym.
So I know I made it, go back to that one, please, for a second?
Sure.
I just want to go make sure I revisit everything that was on my mind on this, when we did this originally. In the old shoe doctor space, is there still a staircase between the upstairs and the downstairs?
Yes, there is, it will be renovated, it will be an atrium, glass enclosed atrium.
No, I mean, inside there was a stairway.
Right.
Is that going to stay?
Oh, no, not the
Where's that?
stairway inside, the one on the.
On the outside, okay.
That goes to the
Okay.
parking.
And I know we had
Which is
a,
on the bottom left of this photo.
Okay.
This rendering.
And I know we had a discussion on the laundry room, but I guess you decided to stay with the community laundry room?
Right, it's still there,
Okay.
still there.
Still not a big fan of that, but, okay.
What was that, that you're not big fan of this?
I thought the laundry, the washer and dryer should be in the
Oh,
apartments.
they're not in the apartments.
No, we
They're in the
do it in
basement.
the apartment.
Oh, they are?
Sure.
Then what's the laundry room?
I don't know, maybe
Oh.
with the wrong files.
I think we might have revised it. We went over this last time, and I think we might have revised it.
So the washer and dryers are in the apartments?
Yeah. So let me just double check the apartment.
Yeah, because that wasn't originally there.
Let me
What?
double
It
check
was
the
originally there,
apartment.
the laundry room.
Was a laundry room, it was a
Yeah.
community laundry room.
Sure. Just give me a second, please.
Yes, no problem.
It's files already.
Let me go over to that.
Yeah, I just can't remember. Who can remember?
This is just the renderings.
I also have the planner checking to see if you can have retail in the basement.
Don't know. Wasn't an issue the last time.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm saying when you guys, when Debbie reviewed it the last
Yeah, I mean,
time.
I'm trying to find it to make sure it wasn't an oversight, and
God bless you.
Okay, so I'm gonna start here. This is the existing conditions that we had prior to the move of the shoe doctor. As you see, there is an internal stair
Mhm.
on the left up corner. Okay,
Yep, okay.
let's go through it. So these are the existing conditions. We had existing storage areas, we had offices in the basement, of course, the mechanical room. We also had other offices, as you see toward the center top of the page.
When you say offices who are the offices, for tenants, or for rental?
Rental.
Rental.
When I did the survey, they did have offices. in it. So we're going back 10 years. 2014. I don't think there's anybody doing that.
I just don't know what the code calls for now.
Right, so this was the condition, that's.
Okay, so that's what it was before, that's,
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay, I got it.
To Dr. having 11-tunnel steer and having an
Okay.
exterior steer, right? And this was the condition on the first floor. And again, I showed us to the left of the building.
I'm sorry.
Then we had the shoe doctor with the internal stairs. And we had,
I have it, you want it?
3 other establishments. With a central staircase, I went up to the second floor. And the second floor was basically
Offices.
offices.
Yep,
I think at some point there was a school for
doesn't matter what it was, it was just offices.
offices, well, office space, and everything else. And, okay, so this was the proposed, and we did that.
So Gianni, based upon this plan, can you tell us if there's washer dryers in there? That's your second floor renovation.
Right, right here.
So there is.
There are, okay.
Okay, that was the question, right?
Yes,
hold on a
Okay,
second.
they're gonna be
in the units.
in the units.
Okay,
No.
so the laundry room down there is not correct.
Uh,
Probably not labeled.
So going back to the proposed first floor, yeah, we had proposed 6 establishments, as you see,
Yep.
6 stores. All of them have renovated ADA compliant toilet rooms, all of them have mechanical rooms, and all of them are ADA access.
Okay, and they all will be.
The proposal is that they will be renovated as the tenants will vacate and they will be brought up to speed. That's what we discussed.
Can that be written up that way, yes, or, you know, the proposal in case they move out?
I mean, personally, I'd like to see them ADA compliant. The bathrooms are always gonna be there, in that spot. So, I mean, there should be no reason not to make them ADA compliant now.
What if someone doesn't leave for 10?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. then it would never be done. Right, anybody have any comments on it? I think they should be.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't? Okay.
Max here.
Well,
So did we find out what that space is gonna be in the basement?
He's-
I was looking at this, but this is a mechanical system.
all right, so then let's correct the record. Gianni is saying now he's relooked at the plans,
Correct.
that the laundry facilities are not in the requirement.
Not in the-
They're
There's a
not
laundry room on the first floor, basement,
in the basement.
yes. So in lieu of laundry being in the
Each unit,
apartments,
right.
there will be a community laundry room in the basement. So we're clear.
180 degrees.
Right.
And I want to show you on the apartment, and that's where I got a bit distracted.
But wait, we skipped over, let's not just keep going along because we want to skip over things.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about the bathrooms in the stores? I don't, personally, I don't like that. Somebody may not move out for a decade, and that bathroom will never be renovated.
So the proposal is, as part of the design, complete with ADA accessibility toilet rooms
Yep,
that they will be renovated in such a fashion.
at some
That's
time.
what you'll see on the plans, right?
No, I understand, but let's just stop here until we see what,
So, Mr. Chairman, I have, Mr. Santoro here. He doesn't have an objection upgrading the bathrooms in the commercial, floor, except that if that construction would close a business down, we would be reluctant to do it during the middle of a lease or during the middle of a business season. So,
I mean.
we're not saying no, but that could
I mean,
lead to a
but-
shutdown of the store.
Yeah, but that doesn't really answer the question, because if you negotiate a lease and the lease is expiring and you negotiate it again, then it's gonna be another term where it's not done, and that could go on and on and on. So it's nice to say you don't have an objection to do it, but you'll never, maybe ever do it, because you may keep renewing leases. I mean, take the bakery, for example. The bakery's been there for a bunch of years, changed ownership for sure, but it's never closed in a gazillion years. I mean, gazillion is,
So you would want it, I'm sorry. and
I would like,
So you would want a business to close to renovate a bathroom?
what if the bathroom just had to be replaced because of repairs and
I mean,
maintenance?
as long as you guys are all right with it being open and renovating, I honestly, I can't speak for a business that I do not own, but I don't think that's right for the business to close for, you know.
They wouldn't necessarily have to close
Close.
to renovate a toilet, depending on how it affects the floor plan of the room.
And if they don't, there won't be a problem.
They would have to shift stuff out of the way, and, you know, it would be an inconvenience.
Is there a way to put some sort of?
You should be able to
Not
renovate a
making it
bathroom.
too complicated, but just saying within a year.
You know,
Without closing
like
the
a
store
bakery,
down.
like a food business, I don't think they would be able to stay open. You know what I mean? So,
There's ways to do it.
But
The
yeah,
contractor can put up
if we can write
plastic and
something up that
separate the
says the
spaces
business
and
doesn't have to
protect
close
it.
while we renovate, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't think.
We
but I-
don't, we
I mean,
don't have an
that's-
objection to doing it, we just don't want to impact the business. And if we could do it on maybe a time schedule,
That's the only thing I can think of, is because I can understand that if I'm a business and now it's like, well, I'm gonna lose 2, 3 days or whatever it may be. I mean, it is only a bathroom, but I don't know what the impact.
Put it in over a period of a year, you renovate all the
Well,
bathrooms.
that's what I'm just saying, is if you say within a year's
That makes
timeframe.
more
try to
sense.
schedule it.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I'm not necessarily saying that you renovate them all at once.
Not do it all at once, but
Right.
over a period of a year.
But let's be clear, I'm just, to be clear on something. I don't want a business going out because they don't have a working toilet and they say, well, I can't operate.
Well, that'll be up to them to figure out how to do it with
Right,
the
so I mean,
business.
I think what we're talking, it seems like we're all saying the same thing. The option should be, we're gonna work with you to make you work, you stay open and the bathroom opens.
Yes,
An option shouldn't be, you're out, we're gonna use the bathroom.
I don't think anybody's saying that.
Just wanna make sure.
Yep, okay.
yes, as
Okay.
long as we're flexible, we don't object, but again, I think we all have the same objectives.
Okay.
Keeping the businesses open.
And we're all, I mean, we'll all accept the laundry in the community laundry room?
It happens all the time.
Yeah, okay.
Can you explain what those circles and squares are in the residential floor plan area, the proposed? That are in the
Yeah,
apartments?
yeah, look them up, yeah.
Okay. All right, we got the first floor. We understand the first
Can I go
floor.
up to
We backed him up to do the first
Yeah,
floor.
can I go up to the second floor?
Yeah, go ahead.
All of
Yep.
those, the planner told me there is no law against having offices in the basement, but there would be fire code, right? That you would have to verify that it's working within the fire code. That might be old
Right,
building.
that'll all
fire
be,
code, yes.
all be building stuff. Okay,
Up to the code requirements, yes.
okay. Let's go to the second floor.
Second floor. Okay, the squares and the round circles within closets, which for a moment I thought would be a laundry room, but it's not. It's basically mechanical, yeah, hot water heater, and also a air conditioning unit for the particular apartment. And that will be the air handler. All the air compressors will be on the roof. So here we have 7 two-bedroom apartments and 1 one-bedroom apartment.
Where is
laid
the
out.
one bedroom? I'll just wait.
Bedroom is the smallest, so it's right on the top, center right.
It's gonna generate at least one unit of affordable housing.
Right, which, that will be the one affordable unit,
Okay.
most likely.
The air conditioners, are they going to be PTAC units or is it gonna be?
They're not PTAC.
Not PTAC,
Right now, they're
okay.
basically
Splits.
a split systems
Okay,
with closets for the air handler unit
okay,
on the second floor.
okay.
And of course, those closets will be part
Better
of
unit.
it.
It's a better unit.
Yep. Okay,
We have a rooftop. It's also accessible by a new stair, which is called stair number 2, to the right side of the building. And for now, this is just schematic.
okay,
We don't have any mechanical plans
okay.
to show, but pretty much that's where the units are gonna go. The parapet wall of the roof will be high enough, so you will not be able to see from the street any of this.
That was my next question, but I kind of remembered that. Okay,
And then we go to the elevations of the building, which
Yep.
are, I can show you better with the renderings that we have. And these are just technical drawings, quite dry. So let me bring you up to presentation drawings, which are here. Oh no, those are photos, sorry.
that's a big improvement.
That's the existing, right? That's the existing?
That's existing.
Okay.
So all your parking is in that back area there?
That's correct, yes.
Yes.
And how many spots in the back?
22.
And how many are there supposed to be?
I believe your planner calculated it for the existing or for the proposed?
For the
It's a-
proposed?
For the proposed, 42.
Oh, no, 32, I think.
64 is the required for proposed. 42 parking space deficit.
Well, the 8 apartments, if we used 1.5, need 12.
Yeah, I have her calculations, which I did look at, and they did agree with. So,
What page are you referring to on this letter?
Which, yeah.
Is this the one dated, all right, I'm looking April 2023, I guess that's not.
There's a name, they seem to be pretty
They're
similar
pretty much
though.
the same.
Okay, because I mean, on page 6, it
Yeah,
says.
page 6.
yeah, so this is the rundown. Right now, we have a 57 parking space deficit. Okay, we would need, based upon the present use, 75, we have 18. After the use change, we would need a total of 64, we have 22. So the deficit goes down from 57 to 42.
It's actually gonna be less than that because you get 2 points for each EV parking space up to a certain threshold.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, it's not gonna be a whole lot. Your deficit may move from 42 to
40.
38 or 40,
Right.
but it's,
And we did talk about last time that there are 4 parking, on-street parking spaces, adjacent to the building.
So everybody should be aware with the on-parking, we're about to use Park Mobile now as a system that does our parking in front and back. So there'll be a mandatory, you can't park overnight on the street, just so I know they're not counting you.
Thank you.
Just so the board is aware, if you are looking at the review letter number 3, that is from April. There was a subsequent letter issued of review number 4, and there are modifications to the parking calculation.
Okay, so that's why.
Yeah, that's
Why you're getting a
Okay.
slightly different number.
Yeah.
We're looking at the May 1st report.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's the latest,
Okay.
that's the latest report.
Okay, so this is the building elevation on Wanakee Avenue. So we see basically commercial stores, new storefronts, new facades, material applications,
So new storefronts, new doors, new things, so.
everything.
Everything's new.
Everything's new. New canopies, new commercial signs, new trees will fix there, and the sidewalks will be fixed as well. So everything will be new. There's nothing left, older than pretty much what, what the brick used to be like. And this is, again, this is the corner of Colfax.
Been so many.
The side on Colfax Avenue.
That's the, what's the date?
That's going to the parking lot, to the back. The entrance is on Colfax Avenue.
Can you go back to the front?
Front.
Please.
I think that's what he's looking at.
So a different
Yeah, so
color?
that's good. So on those storefronts, okay, which are now all glass, which will be a big improvement, are those doors recessed at all, or is that just a straight, everything just straight? In other words, is there a, Abby, you always do that.
Yes, okay.
Say it the right way.
Thank you do you have like a recess into where, almost like a foyer kind of,
No, they're straight across.
they're straight across? They don't sink in? Because I'm trying to think.
Let me go back to the plans, please. Perhaps, okay, take a look from there.
I think we would be willing to give up a little retail space on the inside. They didn't offset them inside.
Right.
No, it wouldn't be much. I mean, it's not gonna be any,
That would look
It's
nice.
nicer and a little safer.
Well, the doors are swinging inside, so the door's not swinging outside.
no, we get that. But we're not gonna lose a gazillion square feet of retail if we push the door in and, have a slight, I can't describe it because I'm not an architect, but
Well,
Okay, well, we have to contend too with accessibility at the A, right?
Yeah, but that shouldn't be an issue with the door.
And just
I
to,
mean, if we push the doors in, create a vestibule.
no, they're talking about how you would have a display window and then kind of an angled in,
The door set back from the
covered
side.
area with the door set back to enter the building. I mean, I don't know how quickly
We
your
lose quite a bit of
process,
space, yes.
sorry?
We lose quite a bit of space, at least 5 feet.
Well,
That's the minimum.
we just,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue about it, but just so you know, there are discussions going on, about creating some design standards. And depending on the process of how far you get and how far that design process gets, it may be required by the time you get to the application process.
So how do I design, based on what?
well,
The regulation of today, the regulation
No,
of
it's,
tomorrow?
the rule is time of application, so I'm just warning you that depending on how quickly your process goes versus our process goes, there may be design standards in place, so you may want to think about this in advance.
But in addition to that, we as the board can say that's what we want. We want the doors recessed. It doesn't have to be a design standard for that.
It would be about 15 square foot per store. So if you set it back approximately 3 foot from the face of the building, and you leave enough space for the ADA, which is would be approximately a 5 foot width,
You need the 5 foot in front,
side to side.
inside to side.
Well,
So you got
3
5
feet from the street, face of the building back into the store, and then 5 foot wide. So you have the 3 foot door, you have 2 foot to the side of the door for your ADA.
All right.
That's about 5 foot, so you're at 15 square
You're at
feet per
15
store.
already.
You also have the 5 feet.
Say again?
That line in there is 5 by 5. That's the way I look at it.
Well, you're not, I mean, we're not changing elevation there. It's just a matter of setting the door back a little bit so that it's off the sidewalk, basically. And then you could swing the door out if you wanted to, instead of having to
I
swing
mean,
it.
I'm familiar with that. I've done renovations in Bridgewood, but you have the same condition, okay? Same buildings that have been designed that way, where you have the storefront, whether it's angled, whether it's straight, whether it's circular, so that you have also a storefront display area,
Yeah.
right?
So the rest of the front wouldn't push in, just that little bit at the door, so you'd have like the.
Right, and then you have that on the inside, basically use it for display.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with that, I'm all familiar with it, so that's.
I think that's what we're looking.
That's what we're looking for.
talking about.
That's what we'd like to see.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I think we're telling you. That's what we'd like to see.
Well, you're telling me, you like the building design, right? You like the glass that is on the.
I remember this from last time, when we got into this huge argument, because,
So let's do
you know,
this, let's do this. Let's-
we are the board that sets what these buildings look like, okay? And no disrespect to any of you guys, okay? This application's been going on since 2019, okay?
Way before
Over,
that,
fine, interrupt me again.
yeah. Sir.
We, as the board, can set what we want to see downtown. We can set these design standards as we go. What we are saying to you is, we would like to see not a straight front on the stores, just all glass. We'd like to see the doors set back a little bit to add a character, a little more character to the building, in our opinion.
Yes, thank you.
That's what we're saying.
Will be done.
Okay.
If that's what you like to see.
Just in the retail.
Right now, the existing, some of the doors are actually set back.
Yes, some are set back,
So,
yeah.
yeah, we'll be open to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just for the retail.
Some of the
Just
retail
for the
right now
retail.
has setback doors.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
yes, just for the retail. Okay. Let's keep going. Where were you? Okay, we did the whole side of the buildings and things. Go back to the front again, please, just for a second.
There you go.
Okay. What is the gray material going to be? I just don't remember.
It's a rain screen material, it's a facade material.
Okay. And-
Basically, it's a polycarbonate type of,
And,
material,
and the beige material is brick?
brick, yes.
Okay, so that brick will have some, go ahead.
So before we get into another argument, I know
Yes.
you guys have a standard, you want a red brick.
No, what I was going to say,
Or, I
No,
just
no.
don't want it, because I do remember this last time.
what I was going to say
I don't want to go
is,
back and forth on it.
I'm hoping that that brick brings in some of the design elements or the colors that were there in the original Washington building,
And that-
so that there's some connection back to what was there,
I think it's a nice looking building. I do.
okay?
I like it.
That's, I wasn't gonna ask
Oh,
for
okay,
red
I thought
brick.
you were gonna say, we want some flow, like the other buildings, I did see Meridia, that building.
No, I don't think we want every building to be the same.
So-
I think if we can get, I like the idea if that brick is similar to the brick that is what the building is made of now.
no, this
I
was
think
a-
that will, tie back some
I
of
can
the,
find that color.
well, I mean, you can get something
It's
close.
like yellow.
Well, it's yellow because it's probably old, but,
Yeah, but yeah, we could work with, some colors if you wanna bring.
yeah, and
that
we'd
with-
probably like to see that before you do it,
Okay.
okay?
so,
Okay.
Which way are we going with the colors?
I think
Okay with this yellow brick?
I think they're all right with the rain screen, the brick color, they wanna match what's existing.
Yeah, and it won't match exactly, but we would like to have something that is similar to what's there.
And that was the intent of the presentation a few years back.
Okay. Those are my questions. Anybody else?
Let's go to the back.
Oh, go to the back.
Oh, there we go.
So there's a doorway, that doorway goes to the upstairs, right?
Correct.
Right.
Which one? The one right in the center?
In a lobby area that leads.
That goes all the way through.
Well, that's what I was gonna
Upstairs in
ask.
the
So it's
middle.
kind of a lobby area to where you get to the upstairs.
Right. Into the main entrance.
And no entrance to any of the retail on the bottom from the back.
Yes, you have doors in there.
Well, but I mean, that's for the use of the retail, I mean, it's not in and out, kind of.
Not for the customers.
Not for the customers.
So
The employees.
those lobby doors will be controlled by the tenants. They'll be
Yeah.
locked and controlled by the tenants. Okay.
And the square footage of the bedrooms, the one bedroom and the two bedroom? The range?
Throw the sheet. Throw the sheet.
Okay, so we have different typology as far as the number, they're not all exact. But
No,
we're
right,
looking
right.
1,192, almost 1,200 square feet,
Okay.
1,272,
Deficit now.
892,
Is 892?
1170, yes.
Okay, is that the one bedroom, the 892?
No, these are
No.
all two
Two
bedrooms.
These are all the
bedrooms.
two
You know,
bedrooms?
I think
The
Abby asked
one
what's the one
bedroom is
that,
569,
how much?
569 square feet.
569, so that's a variance?
Is that, what's our minimum? I know, sorry.
Yeah, the previous application said they wanted, one bedrooms to be 625 square feet. So, studios, 500, one bedroom, 625. So that is the change that was requested.
So now they're changing the change.
This one, I don't know, but 500 square feet studios were not, you have to be bigger than that. And one bedrooms have to be bigger than 625, so I don't know what this one could be.
He said this is 569.
For one bedroom, I don't think so, because the previous one, 625, was not that.
Yeah, I thought the one bedroom was 7 change.
One bedroom residences shall have a minimum of 650.
Oh,
Two
650,
bedroom,
okay.
950.
Okay.
Can make some adjustments.
So you can make some adjustments and get that to work.
Yeah, there's two-bedroom units also that are under that 950, so.
Yeah, I seem to remember, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, because it goes back a ways. I seem to remember in the first set of plans, when there were more stories on the building, that there were 7 apartments on each floor.
Yeah, that's when we had 20 some odd apartments built.
Right.
So you really took the same the second floor is really the same footprint, but you popped another apartment in there. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
asking that.
I am asking him that.
Yes, and also extended. So right now, the second floor doesn't extend all the way to the roof in the back.
Right, yeah, I know that. And that's part of what you're gonna do.
Extended back and went over about 5 feet.
Okay.
So we have, that's where you see the columns in the back.
Yep.
Okay,
So
supporting
is
columns.
it a 5-foot extension off the back, so like a porch almost, like an awning? You have
But
an overhang?
it's an overhang with
Okay.
columns supporting it.
Okay.
So it's not total cantilever, but pretty much. Right. So yes, we have to take, in order to make the 8 apartments work, we have to pick up that room there. But as far as the stair, as you see on the floor plans, I'll bring those back up for a second.
So Chairman, while we got the owners here, I know you won't have a live-in person on this, obviously, right?
Say again?
You won't have live-in management there.
No.
So I'm gonna ask that the owners would be very diligent on how many people are in the apartments.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The number of people in there, you gotta have
Yeah.
the equipment, and you gotta have beautiful apartments.
Of course,
We wanna make
yeah.
sure we keep those numbers.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that'll be in the agreement, right? What do we call that? The non-division of the apartments? We have a term for that?
Yep.
That'll be in the redevelopers agreement.
And that's also been a planning board.
The planning board will do it too.
I mean, I like the project, it's a nice looking project.
How about the co-obligation for something?
They'd have to have one.
One.
I think, maybe 2, but is it close to
No.
2?
But 8, no, yeah, need 10%.
10% round up.
Yeah.
That was my understanding as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Stormwater management?
So, the awnings on the front, are they?
Wait a minute. Ed, yes, the question.
What do you guys do for stormwater management?
I'm sorry?
Stormwater management.
So we manage this based on the existing condition there. So basically, right now, there is nothing on the site. And everything drains to Colfax Street.
Goes right to the street.
Right. And basically, the catch basin proposed in the parking lot, on the lower elevation of the parking lot, it connects to the basin, catch basin at Colfax Avenue.
So it drains to the street.
Drains
Under the
the
street.
basin on the street.
Basin under the street.
As most of the stores now drain.
Understood, Mayor. But you know, with the severity of the storms that we've been having and proximity to the rivers, that was my.
If there is a need to contain stormwater management, sure, our civil engineer will be providing to the planning board.
Or
A
green.
plan to contain with the, seepage pits underground, tanks to collect the water, the rainwater. And then, so, during a major storm at least, the impact of that water would be minimized.
Abby, I'm sorry, you asked a question too?
I just want, you are gonna put new awnings up. What material were they, are gonna?
The canvas, black canvas,
Oh, nice.
and we are around here.
The other thing I don't remember from this, Mr. Veltri, were you guys considering a pilot? Probably not for
No,
units.
way back we were,
Okay.
and then when we
You
scaled
weren't,
it down,
okay.
we agreed.
So this is one that doesn't go to the mayor and council?
Right, this is just the planning board.
This is just gonna go right to the planning board after we recommend it to them, I guess, right?
Yeah, I assume you want to see some of these changes.
Yes, and then
approve
one more time, and then
agreement,
approve the agreement.
so I don't know if we exchanged the draft agreement yet. If not, I can get you.
We did, except for that one general design approval clause, that's why we're here.
Okay. So I think then what we would like to do, anybody else have any questions, comments?
Just is the parking, changes how you enter the parking lot in that, right? Same entrance.
Correct, yes. Nothing has changed. And I can show you from, well, this is the entrance. And unfortunately, it doesn't show the catch basin, which is
Yeah, that's right.
right by that pink leaf tree. Okay, it'll be right there, existing. So we're pitching toward that. Now let's see if I can show you from the existing photos.
No, I understand that goes to the catch basin. I'd like you to consider a green roof, sir.
He's in here.
It's easy fix. It's easy, directing it.
What,
But there's also depends too. Nowadays we have different storms. And again, our civil engineer will be able to assess correctly when we present to the planning board what it will need to manage with underground storage tanks.
Well, regardless of whether you need to, I'd like you to consider a green roof.
Green roof? Well, it is a green roof because it's white roof, So
No, I mean roofs that actively collect and
a roof that actively collects-
reduce the amount of runoff. Yes.
Is anybody else doing green roofs in Montpelier? This Merdia building doing that?
I don't know off the top of my head.
What is it, if you could explain what a green roof is?
It's a way, if, you're probably better.
It's just a structural way of having soil and plants and
like
material.
vegetation and
Yeah,
stuff? Oh,
on the
okay.
roof. It would, an intensive green roof is one way to capture rainwater and store it or delay
I
it.
understand.
Do you have anything?
No, I mean, that's essentially what it is. The other method of doing that would be underground detention. You get the same kind of effect.
Right, I think that's probably a cheaper option. I mean, building a structural that's gonna hold all that.
Yeah.
For a building of this size, an intensive green roof, which, don't get me wrong, I am all in favor of, but the numbers probably don't work out for a building of this size.
But trying to escape some of the water, like you were saying, get it underground, maybe we could just.
Well, we'll leave that to the civil engineer. We don't have to concern ourselves with that. Okay. Anything else on design, things of that nature? Mr. Brewer, can you go over what we're going to want you to do is, based on what Mr. Brewer and the notes he took, probably come back to us one more time with the revisions we'd like to see of the things we discussed.
And colors?
Well, the colors are there. Well, we want to see the brick.
Changing the brick.
Yeah, we probably want to see the brick.
If you could bring both the color you show there and the optional one that he's asking for, so we can see both of them.
Yeah,
Because we might,
we'll try
I like the tan
Yeah,
personally,
match
but.
that as best as we can on the computer.
Okay, yeah, it's
But
hard
like
on
if you could get like a physical sample of the.
Yes, we have some.
So we could.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see the one that you have on your actual rendering as well as one that matches the building, as opposed to just one that matches the building.
So why don't you go over what we have,
We
okay?
have a couple options, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
Mr. Veltri.
I like the tan personally.
Okay.
Mr. Brewer will go over
We can work on it.
what it is we're looking for.
One of the things that I thought of, renovating the bathrooms of the retail, it may be helpful to talk to Sal Poley in between now and the next meeting, who's the construction code official, on if renovating to ADA accessible would in any way require a business to close or not, whether it can be done. That may answer that question, go to report back to the next one. I think that would probably be helpful for the board. Let's see here. Just confirm which one's going to be affordable housing. You don't need that. Firm up exactly, I guess, the color of the brick and the color of the facade. Show the doors to be set back, if that's what you want to see.
We have the one, square footage of the apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
change the
change the square footage of the apartment.
to comply with the current code.
Okay, is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, then come back with those changes and then we'll,
Did you mention the recessed door?
yes, recess door, yeah, he did.
And I think we can probably make a lot, hopefully make a lot of progress on the agreement.
In the meantime,
Yeah, there's a
yes.
few little extra things that popped up, like.
Can we have a note, the architect is saying he can change the plans quickly, and so we'd like to come back as soon as possible. When is,
Also, one other thing,
Yep.
the store on the corner, can we try not to set that back? Because it might look a little weird, I don't know.
Is that,
It's
like a
the deli.
Camford corner?
Yeah, it might look,
Can
I don't
you
even know
pull,
if
can
it's
you pull that
possible
up?
structural.
I see.
Yeah, I think that, I think you're probably right on
If
that.
I'm picturing what you're saying, then I would agree with you.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
agree.
Yep, yeah, you can leave that one
It's an
there.
angled
No.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's recessed doors except for that unit.
except for that unit,
Okay.
okay?
No, that's a good, that's a good.
Okay. We were saying something, oh, you were saying it. we can do
Gianni's
this-
indicating he can make the changes very quickly, and so we'd like to come back as soon as possible, and you can tell us what your agendas look like and when you.
You can come next month, we're fine with
Next
that.
meeting is November
Actually,
7th.
let's hold on for
Is that
one
Atlantic
second.
City,
Yep, hold on.
Wait, next meeting is November 7th. We moved the meeting.
No, it's November 7th?
No,
Oh, no, it's not.
it's not, we made it so it's not the week.
Oh, good.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, it's November 7th.
Gianni, you can
Yes.
have the plans here before then?
Before November 7th?
Yes.
Yeah.
And by that, we don't mean November 6th.
Right.
Sorry?
They want to get them here as soon
Ahead
as
of time.
possibly by
See
the
it
end
for a few
of,
days.
hopefully by the end of October.
Yeah, second Friday. No renderings, but I will bring the materials samples.
Can we have some updated,
So I can change the renderings,
updated renderings?
What do you mean?
the renderings that we have in place now.
No, but we want to see what the doors are gonna look like on the,
The recessed door.
Yes,
I think that's what he's saying, yeah, he'll change the computer graphics.
No, I'll
The way it's
change,
designed, the building.
I'll change the floor plans, I'll show the
That's fine.
recessed doors.
okay,
I'll make
Not the
the
pretty pictures,
changes.
not the pretty pictures, just
Yes.
the engineering
Not the-
stuff.
okay,
Yes.
okay, not the renderings.
Because of the time frame.
Well, you asked for the time frame. We're agreeing to it.
Right, but not for the rendering, again,
Okay.
for the drawings.
Okay, that's
It's on
fine,
the drawings, that should be fine.
that'll be fine,
Okay.
Thank you.
okay?
So November 7th is? the
November
meeting?
7th,
All right, very, very good. Thank you very much.
You're
for
welcome.
your attention.
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Wow, November 7th, we actually may approve this. Okay, I don't think we need an executive session. Public discussion. Anyone want to address the board? Seeing none, we'll close the public session. Any comments? General discussion amongst us? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Have a motion, do we have a second? Second. Done. Thank you.
What's that? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Nice,
To adjourn?
One second, who motioned to second?
Who motioned the second?
Ross,
Oh, you're welcome.
And everyone was in favor?
Abby, yep, I'm good.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Adjournment?
Yeah.
Me?
X, okay, and Ross.
I mean, sometimes there should be like.
Everyone was in favor.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was in favor.
Three different pieces you gotta put